Welcome to broadcast number 17. I'm your host, Lipstick Paddy, and happy Easter, everybody, on today. It is Easter Sunday, the resurrection of the Lord, so hallelujah and shalom, everybody. Oh, it's been an interesting week on Kickstarter, and we can't wait to tell you all the news, but the songs, amazing songs that have come out of the American Song Contest this week. I'll be giving you a preview of them just in a minute. But if you head to our YouTube channel, Kickstarter Radio 102.4, link of that YouTube channel will be below for the podcasters. You click our community tab. You can vote on the songs of today. There was a vote on last week's show, which you can still vote on, and the fan favourite voted songs will be on our end of the month edition of broadcast. So you can affect the show just by voting. And if you are listening on Kickstarter 102.4's YouTube channels, big hello. Remember, you won't get the music because it has to get cut because of copyright. You'll have to go to our podcast. But you do get our podcast in 320 kilobytes a second on the sound. So that's a much better way of listening to the show, in our opinion. It's the full fat edition. But anyway, let's go into today's music trailer. And after this, I'll tell you exactly what's coming up in today's show. Up first will be the Cystal Method with the great song representing Nevada.
I'm not fading. You can't break my soul.
Then it'll be Alexis Cunningham representing West Virginia.
This summer with you is like an endless 4th of July.
Alan Stone representing Washington, my favourite song of the week.
You may see the stars glowing, shining ever bright.
Jared Lee representing Massachusetts, great song this one.
Till you came and swallowed me up.
We're going to have two divas finally. One Mary representing New Hampshire.
When you feel the world is heavy on your shoulder.
And Savannah Keys representing South Dakota.
Never met a stranger in this town.
This is Kiss 102.4.
What a collection of music we have got. Anyway, in today's show, it almost feels like 4 special events have happened. The first, a huge event on Kickstarter, that's covering the Dark Quarter. Then we've got the biggest mistake a new designer can do, looking at Last Light on Game Found. How to do a first time game with Mercurial, even though that's not their first. It's the first soiree into this kind of genre, I guess. But, how to do a first-time game with Mercurial. And we'll also be looking at how not to do an anniversary edition, looking at the DC deck building 10th anniversary and all the baggage that goes with that. Oh dear. And in the final part of the show, we'll be talking about media, the Halo TV series. We're talking briefly about episode 4, the Moon Knight TV series, which has finally got into gear with episode 3, and I'll be telling you about all the majesticness of the American Song Contest before we finish out the show. It's going to be an absolute cracker, peeps. I'm really looking forward to sharing this music with you if you've not been following the contest. This is the creme de la creme, in my opinion, and all that good stuff. Now, we are going to be talking about the Dark Quarter, which was the big event on Kickstarter, where 2 huge Kickstarter companies collaborated together to make a masterpiece. We're talking about that right after this amazing song from the Cystal Method. It's called Watch Me Now, representing Nevada. And if you don't know the Cystal Method, they are like the equivalent to the Chemical Brothers from the UK, or the electric band music, who recently teamed up with Jean-Michel Jarre, if that rings any bells with you. Anyway, he's brought out a new album this past week, which is brain burning, to say the least. This is the first track of it, actually, which he put into the contest. It's called Watch Me Now. Turn up the bass. If you like the sound of the Cystal Method, the new album called The Trip Out, I've been listening to that this week, and I think one of the great things of the American Song Contest is the fact that it introduces you to new artists, and you can go and see what music they have also, because they're all accredited. Yes, indeed. All right, let's talk about the massive Kickstarter, which is the Dark Quarter. When it comes to like detective games, two have bubbled up to the top. There was the amazing City of Angels detective game by Van Ryder Games, and of course you've got the Chronicles of Crime system by Lucky Duck Games. Well, they've both pooled resources together, and they have made a masterpiece here called the Dark Quarter, based in New Orleans. You are going to be investigating murders going around the city, and it has themes of vampire, voodoo magic, werewolves, and occult stuff. It absolutely looks tremendous, and you're using the Lucky Duck system of scanning cards in the art locations. It almost feels like a next generation Mansions of Madness. That's how exciting this is. And the writing from Evan Derrick, who did vast amount of games with Van Ryder, he's done most of the writing for this game, so you're going to get this amazing darkness from his writing, and he really likes to surprise you with his writing. He's really, really cool. And if you've not played City of Angels Detective, that has fantastic writing. I'll give you an example of that. It's like detectives, there's a guy in the cell, he's murdered 4 people. He tells us he's murdered 4 people. Go out and investigate these bodies. We don't even know if he's telling the truth, and it's like he's telling the truth. There is 4 bodies that you go and investigate, and the guy in the prison says this, and it's like, oh my god, this is an incredible story in that scenario of the game. So good. This is kind of Evan Derrick's master piece of writing detective games. Anyway, the art looks stupendous. The Kickstarter's doing loads of special things, and I think if you're a fan of detective games or story games, this is amazing. And it also reminds me of Vampire the Masquerade Chapters Kickstarter, because of all the minis are kind of modern day, although this is circa 1980, and I think that you could pool all these minis together just to populate areas out and stuff. Or even if you've got an RPG that's vampire based, you could use the minis from this game, which is like great utility. And of course the minis are all coming in an add-on box to keep the pledge down if minis are not your jam. So this is like a super polished Kickstarter with 2 amazing teams. This would never have happened in the retail space because they just see themselves as all competition with each other. So this is how the Kickstarter companies are doing it. They've combined two massive companies together to make an amazing bomb. And it's going to be one of the most amazing games of the year on Kickstarter, peeps. And if you're not backing this, think about late pledging this, because it's going to be a treat when you get it to the table. It really is, because Mansions of Madness, I've got all of those boxes. It looks like Fantasy Flight have finished with that project, and I think this is the next big thing in that kind of genre of investigating, moving your characters around the map and turning over, talking to people, using objects and things. Looks amazing, peeps. Anyway, from an incredible miracle on Kickstarter, we're next going to a huge disappointment with brutal design choices. That is going to be Last Light. Yes, designer Roy Kennedy from the Dice Tower teamed up with Grey Fox Games. Oh dear. Yeah, we'll be discussing that after we listen to Alexis Cunningham working on a miracle. Interesting. This song representing West Virginia. What a sound Alexis has here. And I think, out of all the songs, this is rising into my top 10 for sure. Because it's got an amazing sound. Tell me what you think about it in the community vote. Of course, that will be on our Kickstarter channel. So yeah, Alexis, please take it away. Last Light. Oh my goodness. If you're a new designer, please don't go to a retail company. They will chop and chip and smash up any ambition you've got for your game and push it through a cookie cutter, cheapest direction going. Oh my god, it has mistakes all over the place. And these mistakes are choices. Yeah, we chose to go this way instead of that way. We are cutting all the fat off it. We're cutting any bulk off it to create it into this retail Kickstarter on GameFound. And it's like, oh my goodness, the sheer ambition of it has just been dropped. Oh my goodness. They should have really have contacted a Kickstarter company like Awaken Realms, you know, or even Lucky Duck Games. You know, there's a celebrity of companies on Kickstarter that would be happy to pick up games if they're anywhere decent. We're talking a 4X game here that you can play in an hour, which is like what I think is a little bit of a faux pas, because who wants to play a game for an hour? Unless you're spanning 2 games, and really they need to be light games, don't they? If you just want to get away from those big games. Yeah, we played, last 2 nights we've played these massive games, you know, we just want to go down to a light game. What, a 4X? Are you kidding me? Because the genre doesn't suggest lightweight, does it? Oh man, even the player area has been reduced as if like it's adhering to game board tables, and I hate that, because I did a episode, a special program on my Kickstarter channel about board game tables, and they've even considered how it will fit on that. Well, you know, Kickstarter games are fantastic when they're bloated and they're filling the table up so much. I love that. I've got a massive table. Even the planets look gawky, like just marbles. No planet looks like a marble. They're all the same size, these planets, which doesn't make sense. The planets are all in the same, most of them are on the same rotation of orbit around the sun, which doesn't that mean they would crash into each other eventually? There's no moons, there's no Saturn-type planets, there's planets outside the system that aren't even rotating. It's really weird. The alien art looks frankly out of place. It looks like it's coming from, I don't know, a different genre, a party game almost. It just looks silly. You know, 4X is supposed to be serious, isn't it? It like brings down the tenseness of the game, I think, and yeah, not really much happening between differentiating them up, because it's been so streamlined and cut. I think the design would have been better just going for a 2-hour 4X and pushing the technology better than they've done, making it more asynchronous and all that stuff. It seems to be unlocking new ships and new minis and stuff like that, which is fairly okay, but it's still gone down a hammer. And usually when I do a negative video, I get lots of downvote comments, and this has got 100% upvotes, funnily, and lots of people commenting saying they kind of agree that it's disappointing. I guess you can check the comments out on the last live board game that I did, but yeah, just, you know, there's some games that look great but are not my cup of tea. This doesn't look great at all. It could have been my cup of tea, but just, yeah, killed it going into the I think the retail publisher had a big hand in this direction, and I think it would have gone via a Kickstarter campaign. It, you know, with a publisher, it may have been bolder, bigger, and better than what it is. So yeah, big disappointment on that. Even the board, that black board, like, you've got no stars in this space, no nebula gases or anything. Oh, it's just sheer disappointment. I mean, when some Kickstarter dude with a channel less than 1,000 subscribers can list out a shopping list of things that could be improved, you know you've got a problem with the design. Oh yeah. Right. Let's get away from Last Light. Obviously a disappointment. We're going to go to the spellcrafting magic game Mercurial, which is good examples if you're a first time game on what you should be doing on this Kickstarter. Well, we'll be going there right after we've heard from Alan Stone representing Washington. If you've not heard of Alan Stone, this guy is probably the biggest underrated musician in the whole of the US. He is amazing. He's still living in Washington, refusing to leave the state. But what a song. It's called A Bit of Both. And if you like this song and you do a bit of research on Alan Stone, he's got some absolutely incredible songs. He's a little bit of a soul artist, and you'll see he does a little bit of genres and stuff like this, a little bit of you get the style of his singing. It's an absolute cracker, and he's got a good sense of humour, this guy, and like his personality when he's getting interviewed. And it's my favourite song so far in the show. We've got Heat 5 next, coming on tomorrow. There could be a better one, but at the minute this is clear. This is the clear one for me so far, you know, in the contest. So here we go. Alan Stone, a bit of both. Surely just a little bit of magic. Mercurial, the card crafting game where you're crafting spells to save the day. This is fantastic. One thing this team have done from the off is gone, right, we need to make sure that the art is amazing. We don't have any copycat art. Our cards are massive to show off the art. And we need lots of different combinations and combos that make the game interesting. We need a shop that evolves through the game. We need to have lots of bonuses going on. We need to have different modes like a solo mode and a co-op mode just to make it even spectacular. Like, they've gone completely bananas. You know, the one thing they didn't do is a board, because it's mainly a cardboard, but they've brought a incredible add-on of a mat, a gaming mat, and it looks stupendous. The artwork on that thing is the bomb. It really is so good. And yeah, there's like, on the Kickstarter, they've used so many different artists, but it doesn't look janky like the DC deck building 10-year anniversary does. It looks like they were all done by the same art team. And if you look at the Kickstarter updates, you'll see that they've been like introducing the artist and showing off work that they do and why they chose them. It's like you can see the kind of decisions they made going for this new IP, because this is a completely new genre for them. They've been the design. It tells you. I got all these card games and I played all these card games and deck building games, and I wanted to make the best deck building game from all those designs. I made Mercurial. That's the path it went on. And they just ticked off all the boxes it needs to be the damn best deck building game ever. And Mercurial has hit it with aplomb. It looks so fantastic. And yeah, hopefully I put a spotlight on that. It's one of my underrated viewings of the week on Kickstarter, which is a bit of a shame because it looks absolutely awesome. And yeah, it's a completely different spin on it. And I think if you watch a playthrough from Radho, you'll get to see the magic and how it's special. Especially how you can balance like light and restorative magic and like fire magic. You can balance them together to make an even bigger spell. So it's not like you're going for a big ruination spell. You can try and balance a spell to get this massive explosive spell. Like, just really cool, the kind of spell binding you could do in it. Love it. Anyway, I really do like that game. I am backing that game. Dark Quarter and Mercurial, these are the ones I'm backing this week, and they look like they're going to be awesome. Right, what we're looking at next is a how not to do an anniversary edition. It's DC Deck Building 10th edition with 10 years of baggage and loads of different artists over the years, and it all looks out of place. It has more problems. It has more problems than that, but it's still better than another one, which I'll talk about, that hit Kickstarter recently. Anyway, we'll come back after our next song. We're talking about the song Shameless by Jared Lee, representing Massachusetts, which, if you've never spelled that word out on paper, is a bit of a sausage thing, isn't it? It's really difficult. Anyway, Jared Lee, this is like the first real nightclub song that I've really heard. I want to say generic nightclub because the Crystal Method was like this big electric rave trance party, wasn't it? Well, Jared Lee is a little bit kind of, you would get it in most other nightclubs, this Shameless song. It's really good and has some great percussion sounds in this one. So yeah, Jared Lee from Massachusetts, take it away. The DC Deck Building Game 10th anniversary. Oh my goodness, this is talk about bulk and load. They've just had umpteen expansions over the last 10 years, and they're just throwing it all into a massive box here, peeps. Oh, we're going to give you some Kickstarter sleeves for the boxes and stuff like that. You know, it's like you've not even asked anybody about what this Kickstarter needs. First and foremost, you need to have like a new player guide. Oh, I've just put $400 down to collect every expansion on this game, and I've got this giant box, and I'm opening this box up, and it's all. Where do I start? Which expansion do I go to? Is some difficult or harder? Like, I have no idea what the path is. It's just so weird. It feels clunky at best and awkward. I think they need to do more. If you look at the art as well, the art is suspect to criticism because bringing so much artists. I don't know how many artists are involved in this for the last 10 years, but it looks like maybe 100, some of them better than others. You've got some cards that look like they put the artist to work for an hour, whereas another artist has spent a whole day on this art. Like, you could just see like art that didn't go through time to bake in the oven. And I really hate that. You know, because if you come into Kickstarter, like Mercurial, you need to have fantastic art through the whole game. Just absolutely fantastic. And this is coming from retail, and it does have these problems where the art doesn't quite stand up to its Kickstarter brethren. And you know, we had another retail game, Sentinels of the Multiverse, that came to Kickstarter with its retail art, and it was horrendous. You know, they did like a definitive edition and redid all the art. It looked the same as the first edition. They didn't rise above the parapet to the Kickstarter standards that we have today. And even though the DC deck building overall has better art and a better theme, a stronger theme, you know, you're fighting the evil Batman, you're fighting the Flash, you know, all this fantastic IP characters and villains that you've got in DC. But for me, the deck building games need to look amazing. They need to look like you've got the best in class here. And when I look at if you look at my video, the DC deck building game, I do show you what the Freedom 5 art is like on the Kickstarter, and they've got like next generation art, and they really did do all the art afresh into what, you know, to an amazing standard. And I think that really is going to be the best game for comic books when it comes down to art. And it's deck building, yeah, and it's got a campaign, yeah, and it's got a board, and you can upgrade your heroes, and it's just, I think that is going to be the biggest comic book game ever, is Freedom 5. You can still late pledge it, and I think these Kickstarters that are retail games coming back on Kickstarter just aren't going to compete. They just, whether they didn't even know that this competition was going to be there on Kickstarter, yeah, Freedom 5 just blows them all out of the water, even DC deck building game. It would have cost a lot of money to redo all the art, that's for certain, but you know, that's what Kickstarter's about. You know, you're asking a lot of money. You could have put that money to artists to redo the whole shabam here, but you just simply, it's a pre-order for 10 years of baggage is what it's coming down to. Ouch, 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 ouch. Could be better, could be better. Anyway, peeps, that wraps up Kickstarter this week. I will be talking about media chat after the next song, talking about the Halo TV series, Moon Knight TV series, and finally the American Song Contest so far. So anyway, we're going to listen to Mari, which is a fantastic diva representing New Hampshire with her song Fly. It almost feels like this is the anthem of the show so far, and one that pulls everybody together and gets them dancing. So take it away, Mari. Oh, it's the media chat section where I talk about TV and Halo. I love you. 200 million spent on this. If you've not started watching it, who are you? I mean, come on, peeps. It's absolutely fantastic. It has been made for people that don't know the IP. Indeed, you are learning all about the world building and amazing sci-fi world that Halo is. And every episode has just been incredible. At the minute, we've got like a 4-hour movie out of this, and I can't wait for episode 5. And going to be 9 episodes in total. They've already said there's going to be a second series because it's just incredible. And this went through development hell to get where it is, and you won't notice it's had any problems because the polish on this thing is second to none. It really is up there with The Mandalorian, and the visual effects, the costumes are all in, especially the suit of the Master Chief character, just super exciting. And if you like spaceships, traveling to different planets, all that good stuff that you might have got with Star Wars, it's here aplenty, and I'm loving it, and I can't wait for episode 5. It really is aggravating that they don't give you more. Like, why don't they do the Netflix thing and just throw all the episodes on so you can digest it the way you want to? Because I don't know. How do you feel about this weekly schedule? It almost feels like a thing of the past on TV that they're throwing at us, whereas Netflix are kind of the new generation where they just let you consume it. And I think if that was the case, I would have watched all 9 episodes back to back, because it's gonna be an amazing movie when it finishes. It really is. Anyway, Moon Knight, finally, episode 3, got into gear as a TV show. It looks pretty interesting now. My excitement and interest has gone up. I think the first 2 episodes were like dragging their feet. But yeah, episode 3, we're getting to see more of the heroes. I kind of feel, though, that it's going to go, oh, here are, gods of Egypt, super powerful, yeah. We added the Eternals. They were also super powerful, yeah, but the Eternal movie told us why they couldn't affect Thanos. And I think the Moon Knight story is going to tell us why the Egyptian gods didn't help the world when Thanos came. I think it's going to tell you, because they were too busy with the evil god that's going to get awakened in the TV series. Yeah. And I even think there's going to be a film with Moon Knight and all the Egyptian gods and the Eternals. That's coming. I feel we're going to get this, because I think it's gone beyond guys in suits. We're going to like massive godly beings into Marvel are heading into this direction. That's where I think they're going. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Keep your eye on Moon Knight. It's looking good. I can't remember how many episodes are planned for it, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it, but I don't think in the TV series that this massive god is going to get destroyed. I think that's going to be left for a film. I think this is set up for a film. That's my plan, I guess, because I don't think they've got the budget, and I don't think they've got the budget or the scene, the cast or anything to do a big finish final for this TV series. I mean, if it does, it'd be spectacular, but as it is, it's looking interesting at best at the minute. And yeah, hopefully episode 4 can be as the pacing in episode 4 can be as big as episode 3. But yeah, we're finally in Egypt, and it was a great episode to give me a bit more confidence in putting my time in it. Alright, the American Song Contest. Oh my god, episode. Heat 4. Oh my god, the first 5 songs of that heat were like, oh my god, these are amazing. And then it was like 5 turkeys. That's what you get in these contests. You get amazing songs and you get just terrible ones. Some of these terrible ones sometimes float to the top. And if you're watching the show, this is just a microcosm of what's happening in the Eurovision, because each country in Europe has these big shows on television trying to get one to represent the country. Still not been confirmed if the winner will go to the Eurovision Song Contest final, but as a guest to sing their song, but it's 100% going to happen without a shadow of a doubt. Hopefully the songs that I've been playing today show you the quality in the contest, and they are looking for like the best original song of the year, but I think I could do a top 20 songs from the contest and it would rival any new songs coming out from any other artists in the America. So absolutely has been spectacular. I'm really looking forward to episode 5 just to see who gets voted through to the semi-final from the Heat 4. That doesn't get announced until the show after. So that's going to be great. And I don't know how they're going to reveal the result of the semi-final from Heat 5. That's going to be interesting how they do that. But in any case, we're going to see all the songs tomorrow. And we'll be able to get our top lists from everything that we're hearing. It's great that all their songs are free on Spotify and Apple Music and wherever you find music. And if there's any songs that you're not interested in, if it's any songs that didn't get to the semi-final that you are interested in, for example, on the music poll from last week, the song everyone voted for the best was Jaco Feel Your Love, representing Wisconsin. Well, that song's not going to the semi-final, but if lots of people listen to that song on the social platforms, so if you go to Spotify and listen to Jaco Feel Your Love, the more people listen to them, the popularity will push them into the semi-final. That is how they're working. So these songs that don't get into the semi-final, there's a back door if people are following them. So yeah, absolutely fantastic peeps. Loving the show. And maybe next week we'll do a mix of the 5, some songs from the last 5th Heat, and Matt put some Eurovision from this year also, so we'll do an American Song Contest and a bit of Eurovision Song Contest next week. We'll see how the music flows. It might be another stacked where I can get 5 songs out of or something like that. We shall see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching or listening to Kickstarter on the podcast. A big hello to all the YouTubers that don't like the music. Well, that's your jam. We do try to cater for both audiences, I guess, here. And what was I going to say? Yeah, Kickstarter this week's going to be another big Kickstarter week, and the one after that looks jammed as well. So it looks like April's going to be one of these epic months. And yeah, you might have to do your $1 pledge strategies to get through it, because there's just sheer amount of games that you don't want to miss. It happened last year as well, this state of the Kickstarter. April, just fantastic stuff came out, and we're getting the same this week. Kickstarter do curate this kind of stuff, and they do delay Kickstarter so that you don't get big ones, challenging big ones all the time. They kind of spread them out a little bit. But yeah, look out for the channel, what we cover this week, to get my opinion on all these big beauties that populate Kickstarter, and of course Game Phone. So all that good stuff. Remember, head to our Kickstarter Radio 102.4 YouTube channel, head to the community page. You can vote on your favourite song of today. It will affect a future show. And if you're not subscribed, please think about subscribing to our Kickstarter channel. We are getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and we may have a special giveaway when we get to 1,000 subscribers. This is like the first time I've mentioned it, but yeah, thanks for getting to this far into the show. Anyway, this has been Broadcast 17. We are going to finish with a song from Savannah Keys called Sad Girl. I really like this because it's like a country song from South Dakota, but it's a little bit in the blues, a bit melancholic. It's called Sad Girl, and I think it puts a little bit of a spin on the show, which a lot of these songs are talking about love, and this one's saying it's, yeah, you could be sad. And yeah, I think that's why it's kind of interesting for me, as it stands out there as something a bit different in the show. Anyway, that has been broadcast number 17. We'll be back next week, of course, with broadcast 18. If you have any questions for the show, I will be collating all the questions for the end of the month. So at the end of the month, we'll have a Q&A section to the podcast and all that good stuff. So just leave a comment in any of our videos with the hashtag question, and leave your question and all that good stuff. So yeah, there we are. That's Broadcast 17. I've been your host, Lipstick Paddy. This has been Kickstarter Radio 102.4's radio podcast called Broadcast. Yeah, so here we go. Savannah Keys with Sad Girl. Please end our show for us. And everybody, hope you had a great Easter weekend. Have a great week ahead. So yeah, take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now.